Welcome back from that short breather. Most of you have been asking me a lot of questions about Derek and why he's so controversial. So tonight I have him alone in the studio to actually explain to us all the things he's been saying. Like yesterday, for instance, Reverend did not really agree with him. So tonight, Derek is in the studio to explain to me why, or ask why he said that in a relationship one can't be very committed. Derek, explain that. Because people are angry with you. Okay, so
I know. But the disclaimer is that I say what I believe in.
Okay.
Naturally. I say what I believe in, and I say what I've researched and learned about. And when I was ending yesterday, I was saying that everybody should learn his character trait. You get my point. And know where you stand. We have four temperaments. You have four temperaments.
Okay.
That is a sanguine, melancholy, choleric, and phlegmatic.
Yeah.
And so you have to study it and know where you stand. Know the one that dominates you more. Okay. So that when you are even entering into a relationship, you will know your match.
Okay.
Because eventually, if you are entering into a relationship as a sanguine with another sanguine, just imagine how the relationship will be like.
Very dull.
And I'm saying that anytime you go into an agreement with somebody,
okay,
even when you sign a contract with somebody, what bounds the two of you together is the contract you sign. Okay. Because you know if you go contrary to the contract, you'll be sent to court and it's a breach of contract. And so it's the same way when it comes to marriage. When both of you have made a vow, you have to keep the vow. You can't go contrary to the vow.
Right. Before you get into the marriage bit, you know, you can't marry without courting. Okay. So if you say in relationship you are not bound to be committed, what do you mean by that? Because it is out of all those, like your character, the way you handle me and everything, that will make me want to stay with you longer. So if you are not being faithful to me because you are not bound, how do I then marry you?
Yeah, you asked me a question. Africans, you asked always questions. But you see, I wanted to ask you, if you want to get married to someone, would you want to date for about 10 years before you get married to the person?
That's schooling.
That's cool. So for me, if I want to get married to somebody and it begins like maybe I know where I'm standing and I really want to get married to the person, I become serious in the relationship at that point. You know, there are some people, you might not know their true character unless you stay with them for a very long time. There are some people who hide it. It depends. There are some people, immediately you meet them, they show it to you. That is what I'm saying. It depends. Everybody's character trait. And so for me, I'm thinking that, look, relationship itself, the word relationship, it's like being around each other. And you brought in courtship. Courtship really means that you are now
getting to know each other.
Yes, and planning to get married. Like both of us have agreed that we want to get married.
Exactly.
That is where you become fully committed because both of you have agreed that you want to get married. The reason why a lot of the guys and the girls, in fact, guys don't even get broken hearts. The reason why a lot of girls are getting broken hearts because
I know of a few though.
Yes, because they are fully committed to any relationship. You can see a 20-year-old girl, you know, in you, deep in you that you are not going to get married now.
Okay.
You get my point. You know deep in you that you're not going to get married to this guy. In fact, the guy is even 22 or 23. And you are fully committed to the relationship. Like, seriously. You get heartbroken.
But we have a lot of people out there who make decisions as in, okay, this is the man or this is the girl I have found and I want to spend the rest of my life with. Are you saying that I shouldn't be committed because I'm young?
Look, it is not about your age.
Okay.
But it is about your preparation, whether you are prepared or not. There are some people, they are not prepared to get married. Look, we are in a relationship. I know I have to be fully committed to the lady. That is what you are telling me. But at a point, I know that there could be something that could break the two of us apart. But when you are married, it's also a relationship though. But there's something that has kept the two of you together that you have no choice than to stay in because of a vow.
Okay.
My point is, okay, if I want to stay committed to a lady and I know you are the one I want to get married to, I can give you a vow that, look, you are the one I want to marry, nobody else. And so I stay committed to you. You get my point. But the more it's becoming longer, the more there's a probability that there will be a breakup.
Okay. So if I understand you well, you should be ready. I mean, you should be very committed to a marriage or a relationship that is poised or gel towards
Of
marriage.
course.
Okay.
Of course.
So
that's what you are so committed to. You are committed to something that you are prepared for, not something that you are not prepared for. You see, most of the times, the relationship that most of us and a lot of people are in is like they are in fantasy. They are just enjoying themselves. They are feeling like, let's have fun.
Everybody is having a relationship, so let me also have
let me do something like that. But really not prepared for it.
Okay, so in talking about preparation, let's now go into the Jhansi show itself now. Do you think that Manu wasn't well prepared for the leadership, reason all the confusion in Jhansi?
You know, I think enthusiasm got in, and then youthful exuberance also.
That childhood.
Yes, because at her tender age, people were just praising her. You are good, like you're a lady and you are doing marvelous things as a guy. And one thing I've realized about Manu, and always I see that is missing, is intelligence, wisdom.
Okay.
Like Manu finds it difficult to decode what a conspiracy is or not. Manu finds it very difficult to be able to get hold of something which she thinks is missing. You know, Manu is so confused, totally confused. She gets to the point, she thinks, look, one thing about Manu is she thinks it's all about strength. Look, fighting an enemy is not all about strength. It's about wisdom first. That is why even in the Bible, he said, in all things, get wisdom.
In you, get understanding.
Good. So you begin to understand how the enemy operates. You have been with them, and these people, it's not like they are changing their tactics. They are doing the same thing. And you are not understanding what they are doing. Now, you get to a point and you are like, it's a conspiracy. I have to withdraw back. I have to change my actions. I have to do this. You are confused. You are even not a good leader.
Does that mean that the leadership or the elders of the throne have not helped her in any way? Because if you are talking about wisdom or of wisdom, it should take the elders to have that.
You see, sometimes when you yourself as a leader, you are able to stand and veto for certain decisions, then it makes you a bold leader. But most of the times when you always want to listen to your subordinates, it looks like they are feeding you with the information and you really want to work with that. We have leaders who always veto, like it's not all the time, but in some cases, and say, no, let's go my way. But you see, Manu would always want to hear everybody's part. Manu would always want to work with everybody's decision. Manu will always want to be the leader who is so, look, a leader who is so soft can't be a leader. Look, you have to be flexible.
Let me say
and
I don't agree with you here, because I don't see Manu being the listening type. She doesn't listen to her elders. I don't see that.
Manu will always have to. Why does Manu have meetings? Oh, we are going to do this. Manu says we should all come together. Let's talk about it. The father even said it, or one of the elders said that we are going to have a meeting on where we can put these people in a safe place later. You get my point? So all the time they have to be in a meeting. So Manu, can't you sit down and think about it and then throw the challenge? Okay, this time I want us to put the people here with your own decisions. No, not all the time. Most of the times, Manu wants to rely on these elders. I'm not saying their counsel is bad.
Okay.
Their counsel is cool, but it looks like Manu's strength lies within them. She's not herself.
Okay, so we talk about her son now as it stands. He's traumatized after what he went through, after the kidnapping. And yet we still see Manu struggling to bring her child out of this. What is it that Manu is lacking in terms of motherhood?
Manu has always been a woman in trousers. In jeans, I don't know how to say it.
Don't say that.
Yeah, like a man, some sort of. So it looks like she doesn't even know what to do. She's lost. She doesn't have ideas on how to take care of the son because she's always fighting. And we saw this from the onset. I kept on saying this, that look, Manu, it is not your fault to fight. It is not, you are not supposed to fight, but people will fight me. But he's doing things, what a man can do, woman
can do better.
But you see, you are missing something. That is the motherhood. Right now you've left the boy home with your father. Now your father is doing your role as a mother, and you are going to save people. Your own son, somebody is about to kill your own son, and you are going to save another person's life. Really? As that motherhood, like I don't really understand how this lady is losing it when it comes to taking care of a child, because you lost your first pregnancy because you wanted to save somebody. And then you've lost your first son because you allow some gifts that me, myself, I was wondering, how can you just allow a snake, a dummy snake, to be placed by your son's bed? And now you have left your son who is not feeling well, who is traumatized, and needs you now, and you are going to save somebody else. She has lost it. She doesn't have that ability to be able to take care of this child because she has always been a woman, like in quote, in trousers, like a man. So she can't take care of the son like the way a woman should do. Like the way the king, who is rather supposed to leave the place, the palace, and go and save people and leave the son. That's what she is doing.
So if you find yourself in such situations as, like, a mother having her child being kidnapped, now the child is traumatized, how do you bring the child back to his or her normal state, lively and bubbly?
You know, you need a specialist. Like, you need maybe a child psychologist to be able to psych the child up. You need you have to send the child to the hospital, check, look, and always be with the child.
Here's a case, she's refusing medical help.
It's because she knows that the child is so precious, like a royal. And you know royals, Charlie, all eyes are on them. Anybody has an attempt to kill you. In fact, leadership itself. If you're a leader, all eyes are on you. People are attempting to kill you. People are
conspiring.
Yes, making plans and other stuffs to kill you. So because of that, you always have to make sure that you are careful with the kind of things you receive, the gifts you receive. And so I think on that side, I side with her.
Okay.
But you have to have your trust doctor that will be taking care of the child. You have to have somebody who you trust so much that, okay, this person can give my child a good medication and my child will be well. You have to have, and I know we have people like that too. And so I think the first thing you do is you have to give that's the time the child needs you more. That's not the time you have to be spending time and be going out and be doing all other stuff. Me, if my child has a problem, I have to just seek permission from work and be like, my child is sick, I want to be with my child. And then they give me some time to be with my child. That is the time the child needs you. It's not the time you just leave the child to your parents and then move out.
Okay, we saw a scene where the husband was advising her not to take medical help because they are their enemies from the British itself. From the British. Would you advise someone, or would you advise anybody not to take help or seek help from an enemy, so to say, somebody you're at loggerheads with, but at this point you're dying and that's the only way you can get help? Would you say no to such help?
Very difficult question. You might not know whether the help is genuine or not. You can't tell. Even if the person is not your enemy, you can't tell. There could be somebody that you trust so much that could even kill you.
Okay.
And so I can't specifically say that you have to accept it or not. Okay. But what I will say is that you have to be careful.
All right.
Even the Bible says that we have to be as wise
as the serpent.
And as calm as what? You know the Bible. You know the Bible.
Well, thank you so much for coming. And thank you at home for being a part of us.